see that funny looking guy with glasses? Yeah, that's me. Now you're probably wondering, Gilbert, what are you doing on a farm? Wearing overalls, farming? Well, it's quite simple really, you see. About a month ago, this was where I worked. 9 to 5, all week long. As you can tell, it was absolutely exhilarating. Well, no. Luckily, the American free economy exists, which means economic freedom. I can pick where I want to work, just like Harv here. He's the local doctor. Or Gus, he owns the Star Drop Saloon. Can you imagine what it'd be like if the government got to choose your occupation? I might end up as a blacksmith. A lonely blacksmith who has to wake up at the break of dawn every morning just to break open rocks, and who wants to be loved but knows his affections will never be reciprocated because he's too plain to be noticed. But hey, not me. Oh, speaking of economic freedom, you can also hire whoever you want. I personally don't need any help on the farm, but owning a bigger business like the Star Drop Saloon can be hard to manage all on your own, so Gus hired Emily to help him out. They work great as a team. If Gus didn't get to choose who he worked with, then his business might not run as smoothly. Ooh, I recommend you try their spaghetti. It's magnificent. Or make some yourself if you think it costs too much. I personally grow and sell whatever I want for however much I want, which makes the cost no problem at all, especially considering I run the only farm for miles. Which means I could maybe have a monopoly on pumpkins, or on hot peppers, or even parsnips. Just think of the parsnips! This is only possible because I have no competition, and without competition I could sell mediocre crops for double or triple their cost, which is great for me, but isn't good for consumers at all, and creates a serious imbalance in the economy, which is why we need competition. For example, do you remember Joja? Yeah, it's the company I used to work for. They're such a big corporation that they even have a store set up here. Now, Pierre also has a general store here, which gives Joja a bit of competition and forces them to lower their price of seeds. This isn't as easy for Pierre to do, because he runs a much smaller business, so it's harder for him to keep up with Joja. But it is beneficial to me, because seeds are a lot cheaper than they would be if Joja was the only seed seller here. I can only hope it stays this way, because Joja is already threatening to run Pierre's general store out of business. Then I'd only be able to buy seeds from Joja, and they'd be able to amp up their prices, which is bad news. Enough flibber jabber. Let's talk about my farm. All this beautiful land is mine, and I can do with it what I please, because it's my private property. For example, this corner here is looking pretty barren. I think a silo would look fairly snazzy here. Or maybe a row of crops. Because then I could sell them or even gift them if I wanted. Oh man, can you imagine what it'd be like to not have private property? All the crops I grow wouldn't belong to me. Scratch that, I might not even be able to farm here because this land wouldn't be mine. It might be used to build houses or maybe a Joja warehouse. Oh, without private property, there would be no privately owned businesses because everything would belong to the government. There would be no competition. There would be no contracts or voluntary exchange. It would knock the American free economy right on its butt. Just like Haley when I give her coal. To simplify, private property is definitely a good thing. So is friendship, so don't give Haley coal. I mean, without private property, I wouldn't even be able to give Haley coal, or anything good for that matter. Well, did I answer your question? Why I'm working on a farm? No. Oh, well, let me recap. I, Gilbert, am working on a farm because it's what I want to do. And I can make decisions like this because of the American free economy, specifically economic freedom and private property. Now, I invite you to come and farm down here too, because it doesn't feel right without a little competition.